That was played with maybe the dirtiest fingernails I've ever seen in my life.
Well, we are in Hawaii today, so he's been building sandcastles.
Dude, and thank you for the fans, or thank you to the fans for letting us, really funding our trip to Hawaii.
Requesting us here from...
Yeah.
You know it's hot, hot.
You know, and it's great to see everybody out here tonight watching the live pod. That's great.
Hey, everyone.
Woo!
Hey.
Yeah.
Limbo contest. I'll be right back.
I can't wait till that pig is ready to be eaten.
I want to address the dirty fingernails thing because I'm a little offended by it. I'm tiling.
You're offended by it. We had to see it.
I'm tiling my bathroom and we're using black grout, so it just gets everywhere. But I've scrubbed my hands several times. It's kind of like an old mechanic. So yeah, my fingernails have a
You
little
just made
black
fun of
on
your
them.
dad.
My dad wears rubber gloves like a human adult.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
Never seen a mechanic wear gloves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. He's done with that whole washing his hands thing. He just wears like those surgeon's gloves.
Doesn't it rip?
They
like, pretty
always
fast?
rip for me.
For
anytime
me,
I
they
try and
rip,
use
but
it,
he
yeah.
just he uses tools so well.
Mm.
Like he hardly ever gets his hands in spots. It's tools.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I literally, by the time I'm done, like changing my oil or something, it's only the fingertips are on the gloves. Like, do they
Exactly. And like the
shred?
rest of it's full of oil.
Yeah.
Or melted on the engine.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Unsought Opinions with the Boys. Today with us, hopefully this pod doesn't get erased. We got Ben Dub, the Man Dub,
That's not exactly what you were gonna say.
and
You were gonna call me what you called me earlier, and then you edited it right as you were
edited.
saying.
and we got Dano and the Boosh.
That's almost what you called me earlier.
Okay, well, welcome to the pod.
We're glad that you made it this week, people. We really appreciate you taking the time.
We do want to say, yeah, our numbers are doing really well, so just keep listening, keep telling your friends, and keep writing in, because we love our ad reads, but more importantly, we love reading your guys' messages in your mail. So,
And let us know if you want us to stay here in Hawaii, because I kind of want to.
I'll do it too.
I am not a fan. I'm gonna be real with you guys.
You know, it's honestly, we are getting some bum weather. It's sort of like a dreary May day of Virginia type weather. It's weird.
Yeah, like I'm in Hawaii and I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
I feel right at home.
Strangely comfortable.
I think that there's a lot of like jokes that we make that we never address, and so it's just very confusing to people.
People think that we're like having really interesting lives.
Like last week we were talking about how we started in a spare room and now we've made it here, and we're really like here is 20 feet from that spare room, but nobody understands
It's
that
just
irony.
quieter because the kids aren't crying out here.
Right, exactly. But the rain is rolling, so if you hear it again,
Once again.
that's God's creation, you know?
Yeah, so don't complain about it.
I think that volcano is
Fancy.
starting to crack open.
Back to yeah, we are in
Thanks.
Hawaii.
Hey guys, I made a joke up today.
Oh, no.
I kind of heard it and then
Doctored it.
I'll take that
for us.
joke.
yeah. How does a alligator build its house?
I don't even.
With reptiles.
Well,
Are you talking about the roof?
I hit the wrong button.
well, thanks everybody for tuning in.
I kind of like that one better than the.
Well, I'm sorry that Steven is so dominant on this pod.
Yeah.
If you could just see the way he's sitting right now.
Hey, I didn't realize that we
my
could
chair's
change all
higher.
these sounds.
Yeah, we can.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Feel free to, but I really like what we're working with.
We should, yeah.
I found that
Also-
out last pod.
Everyone listening, I apologize, but we will not be doing How was your week? Because the boys don't enjoy it.
No, we'll do it. How was your week, Steven?
My week, it seems like it's just getting started.
And you know what's weird? So the problem is with this segment is sometimes a whole week hasn't gone by.
In fact, it's only been like 4 days.
It's been like 3 days since we recorded last.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, my brother-in-law and his family came and visited for the weekend, and that was fun. And then he lives in California, so he came over here and we were hanging out. And we had Mother's Day, and I took my wife to Outback for a lunch,
Baller alert.
only to find out that the lunch menu wasn't in effect because it's on a weekday, and so I kind of had a little bit of a panic attack.
More free bread.
Dude, it was brutal. And then my son and I were doing long toss in the yard, and I woke up Monday and I felt like I was gonna die. Dude, I'm starting to get sore from sporting events.
Yeah.
Hey, never mind. I'll ask you after. I thought we were supposed to be playing volleyball again.
And yeah, what happened with that?
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. That's probably what it was. I haven't heard a titter about it
Oof.
since we.
I've never really tried to listen.
Dan, how was your week?
It was good. Sad. We had a nest of little baby birds perched on our light by the front
Hate
door.
That stinking dog, wasn't it?
No, not the dog.
Oh, wow.
So I was mowing the lawn. And no, you're still going the wrong way. Big black snake was in the grass, which I thought I was going to come across.
It
one.
had a bird-shaped stomach.
No, everywhere I was trying to mow, it kept going in that direction. So it eventually climbed up the
Chomp it,
the tree, and so I was just like hoping that it wasn't going to drop down on me as I passed each time. And then coincidentally, that evening, all the birds are gone. And they were there that morning, so I feel like they probably got eaten because I don't
should've
think
mowed
they weren't ready to fly.
Dude, when we first moved to this house, I was mowing that hill over there, and I was barefoot, just push mowing because it's like kind of a steep hill. And I see a snake wiggling through the grass, and I'm barefoot, and it was brown. And so that means it was probably a copperhead. So I chased it down, and I got him. You just hear it in the blades. And then I realized he's kind of small, and small baby black snakes are also brown. So I don't know what
They
I
actually
got.
look identical to copperheads.
Dude, identical, except copperheads have a neon tail. For all of you at home listening, it looks like a fish hook.
Did
They're-
you know that
they're not
baby
really
copperheads
identical.
are more dangerous than adult copperheads because they
Yes.
don't ever release their venom?
No, they don't
Or
know
I mean,
how
they
to dilute
well,
it.
they don't stop releasing venom. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's me doing a snake.
Also,
snake
I ran over a
Is that-
snake.
Oh,
I ran over a
I was
green
like,
snake.
Is the snake blowing bubbles?
I'm a slithery little snake.
I'm a snake.
Ugh.
Oh,
Remember
gosh.
that? Do you remember that YouTube video?
That's what I was trying to.
That's what I
do.
thought.
Yeah.
Anyways, I ran over a green snake one time with my bike, and it
Oh
just
man, that's cool.
flew up into my tire, or like right up underneath. Kind of gross.
Did it get
Oh,
ripped up?
gosh.
No, just broke his back.
Oh man,
Dude, when I was, like-
green snakes are dope.
5 years old, my brother and I were at my grandma's, and we were just playing. She lived on a horse farm, and she had like a little piece of that black like paper that you put under gardens
Mhm.
to keep the weeds out and stuff. And it's like plastic. So there's a piece of that. So we went over there, and I went and grabbed it to throw it away, and it wriggled, and it was a black snake, and it traumatized me. And I think that's a large reason why I hate snakes so much this day.
There used to be one in our sofa chair in the garage. So then every time, for a while, well, this was a trash sofa
Sorry,
chair.
You go. And sit.
They were just waiting to go.
In there?
Huh?
A snake was just living in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw him crawling up into it twice, and I was like, ugh, I don't want to accidentally sit in a chair with a snake popping out,
Whoa.
especially a toilet. You hear stories.
Dude, I've heard spider stories of that. People are dying on a airline flight. This was on Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. I don't know if you guys
Oh, yeah.
remember that show.
Great show.
Friend of the pod. And all these people were dying, and they looked, and there was like a brown recluse underneath the toilet.
The same one the whole time.
Yeah.
How did that not make the top 10 list last
I know.
week?
Were spiders on there?
No.
That's weird. Because you're going to bundle snakes together. Why won't you bundle spiders?
I'm sure they don't kill that many people.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to kill more than, what was the lowest one? It was like only
Lions. were like
500 or
200.
something like that. 200? Yeah.
That's crazy. Actually, if you think about that, that spiders don't even kill that many people a year.
They have to.
Yeah.
Someone didn't do the research.
We need to question that list.
I'm gonna actually Google that.
All right.
What website were you on?
How was your week?
He's Googling.
Dude, did you guys hear about the Boeing flight?
Which one?
Yeah. So I don't know if this is real, but I heard it on a podcast just today. And I thought it was really interesting. So I haven't looked it up or vetted the information or anything. But apparently, a Boeing flight was flying down the East Coast, and mid-flight, the raft slide like ejected off of it, like it inflated and flew off the plane.
So does that mean the door opened too?
I don't know.
Once again?
Yeah.
I mean, not unlikely.
But apparently, it was found on this lawyer's, like it washed up on this lawyer who had like a beachfront house or something, on his lawn. And the lawyer is one of the lawyers that's suing Boeing for all their faulty planes and stuff.
I feel like that's pretty far-fetched, but if it's true,
Dude, I know. That's what I'm
awesome.
saying.
What'd you find?
6 people a year in
That's-
the U.S.
For just spiders?
and just spiders.
That's just U.S., though.
In just U.S.
Why is everyone freaking out about black widows and
Black
recluses?
Black widows don't really kill you. You might get like a fever type thing.
Dude, my dad got really sick from a brown recluse.
Brown recluses is the one that's brutal, and most of the time you don't die from that either. Apparently,
It's kind of like a rattlesnake, where you'll just get sick.
right. Yeah, I grew up thinking that everything was just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
you're dead.
That's what I thought.
Which is probably a good way to raise up your children. Just
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, maybe.
but yeah, you'll just be a little sick.
And yet they tell you, oh no, those alligators won't hurt you. Go swimming in Florida.
What about outside of America? 'Cause
Meanwhile-
we've got non-super dangerous
This
animals.
same podcast, I'm just going to steal all their information and relay it on ours. But this 10-year-old girl was in Florida in 2 feet of water, because you just said that. Gator chomps her and starts like death rolling and going crazy. And apparently she remembers going to Gator World, and they said if a gator has its mouth closed, it can only breathe through its nose. So if it ever clamps you, put your fingers in his nose and he'll release because he has to breathe. This 10-year-old little girl plugs up this gator's nose, he releases, and she escapes, and this is okay.
It's like pouring alcohol down a snake's throat.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, if they're not letting go.
Where are you supposed to get alcohol?
I'm reading here that most of the 20,000 species of spiders found in the U.S. are poisonous, but their fangs are too short or too fragile to break through human skin.
Just like
I
the
knew
daddy
that about
long leg.
Daddy Longlegs. I didn't know that was the majority.
So
Also,
we're
I
just
think-
threading the needle there.
I think daddy long leg's a myth.
Is that true?
Can you explain that? What do you mean?
Well, remember when we were kids, everyone would say that daddy long leg's the most dangerous spider, but his fangs are too short.
So that's a misnomer. It's more poisonous than a tarantula, was what they said. Or what
I always heard most dangerous. But,
yeah.
I've
heard that as well. But okay, so I guess we're on the same page.
but I don't even think they're poison.
Really?
Ben?
do I think that they're poison?
Well, are you looking it up?
I am, but I gotta.
But, all right,
give
what's
me a
your thought
minute.
first?
I'm not Jamie Vernon. What? What was the question?
Are daddy long legs poisonous?
I think I've always heard that they are, but that the whole thing that you just said, I don't know. Let me look it up.
I think they're not.
Okay. Well, while you're looking that up, I had this question like searing it through my. I've been thinking about it a lot this week. I don't really know why, but I have been. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. So Dan, if you could snap your fingers and go
They're
back.
not even spiders. Did you read that?
No.
Daddy long
I
legs
guess
aren't
both
even
just
spider-
googling while I'm talking.
I don't even. I thought you were talking to the people. I didn't know you were talking to me.
I'm talking to you guys.
Okay, what are you saying?
This is all the people.
Yeah, you're right. This Hawaiian crowd you're not going to talk to?
Okay. If you could snap your fingers
Yes.
and get transported back to like 7-year-old Ben, and then you get to just relive your life. It's going to be the same way. You have no knowledge of it or anything, but you
Right.
just get to relive all the good memories and everything that you have. And
7 years?
7 years old,
Okay.
but you don't get to come back to like you're transported in the past. You don't just shrink and become a 7-year-old, and you just relive your whole life like you're watching an old movie over again.
What would you do differently?
No. Would you do it?
No.
if you do everything the exact same.
Exactly
if
the
you
same way.
said-
You just get to like
if you
relive
s-
everything.
If you said 8.5, I'd say yeah. But
Seven,
Dude,
seven was the old neighborhood.
the summer that I was 7 in that neighborhood, there was a guy remodeling a like Model T, like an old one, and he had me stitching up his stinking upholstery, and it took me a whole summer. I went from school to upholstery straight to school. I had no time.
Did you get paid a quarter?
No, that didn't pay anything.
Did he pay you to watch him?
Different guy.
Wait. So why'd you do it?
I have a hard time saying no.
Why did you do the podcast?
Have that problem. But yeah, so no, I wouldn't go back to 7. That was a painstaking summer.
Okay. Well, 8.5.
Yeah, I'd do that. Man, I've had a good time.
The pool.
You would?
Oh yeah, dude.
So you would have to wait 30, 28 years before you can like hold your daughter again and stuff?
Has Ben even held his daughter before?
Yeah, probably not.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm supposed to pick her up.
He was at Home Depot with her the other day, remember? So I don't know how he got her into the car.
That's right.
He's like, get.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again.
I'd do it again. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I had a good life.
That's what I'm...
Especially if nothing is going to be bad coming out of it.
right. Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
know.
basically just doing the same thing over.
I know. Dude, I live...
This is
I
a
truly-
ridiculous question. I love it.
Yeah, I truly think that like nostalgia is like a drug, and you can overdose on it like crazy. Because like I find myself like just daydreaming and like missing being like 10 years old, or just you know what I mean, where you don't have like I don't know. I'm just always in nostalgia. However, if I think about the question in the sense of like all the super uncomfortable, awkward, horrible situations that I wish I didn't do, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
But I feel like those typically are less than the good times.
Oh, for sure.
I just went to the mall the other day,
Can I?
and I'm not even a mall person. I was just going to
Is
return
anyone
something.
a mall person?
I was returning something at Costco and JCPenney. Anyways, all the stores are like the exact same as they used to be.
What do you mean?
Like there's no new stores, I feel like. The mall's just the same old mall as back in the
It's
day.
because malls are dead and no one comes to them anymore.
This one was packed.
Really?
Yeah, it's packed.
The Fredericksburg Mall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, every other
The
mall
only
is like
reason
no one's there.
we ever go there is because it's the only JCPenney.
Actually, the Pentagon Mall is pretty busy too.
really?
Went there for Panda Express.
Oh, dude, Panda.
Wait, you drove all the way to the Pentagon Mall?
Well, funny story. I was trying to get Panda Express. Followed the GPS. It took us to like some military base in DC. So like, dang it. Why did our GPS take us there? So we turn around to the next one, go a couple miles and come back up to the same gate, or not the same gate, but the same base, a different gate. It's trying to take us through there again to go to a different one. Like, this is so dumb. So we just, on the way home, we just stopped at the Pentagon Mall. It was a pretty cool mall.
You get lost in that area a lot.
I didn't get lost. My GPS was being dumb.
Yeah, the GPS was dumb to us when we were coming home from a Redskin game, too.
That's because we weren't paying attention.
GPS is usually pretty good for me, so I have nothing to contribute.
You just
to
got
this.
to exclude military bases and roads you can't go on.
Ben, have you ever been to a mall?
No. No, I have. Yeah, I have.
What was the last mall you went to? And for what reason?
Strip malls count?
Nope.
I
Strip mall is just a shopping center, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
dude, I was
much.
counting those. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Yeah, that dog's going nuts right next to me.
My roommate just got home.
Nice.
So anytime there's a new person, she needs to let the world know. One day we'll have a studio.
So you just pulled your iPad out. What's going on with
Yeah.
that?
Well, you know, I'm getting a little bit more high tech. In that I actually did a little bit of research for a topic today, and I
Uh-oh.
used my iPad and copy and pasted into notes. And the cool thing, and I'm sure you guys already know, well, you won't know it, but I put it in the notes on my iPad and then pulled up my phone, and it's all there as well.
Nice.
It's just so like,
Why would I not know that?
because you're an Android person.
I've had iPhones,
Why don't
but
you
that's not the
just-
only technology that does that.
Dan, I will pay you money to get an iPhone.
I will
Yeah.
not. I just hate you so much when I see that green bubble. It's just I don't know why.
I want to be able to
I
send
love you as a
text-
Because you've been
human.
brainwashed.
I want to. And you haven't with your less secure device over there, Mister.
Actually,
Let's go get a Neuralink.
I was reading they're more secure. The texting features, though.
Isn't that specifically the thing that's the least secure for Android?
I don't think so. I think that's. I have to find the article, but
Okay.
it was the reason why they just changed a whole bunch of stuff with iPhones because they were like 10 years behind, basically, with the
Gotcha.
security stuff for that. But I know they are very. They will like not let anyone go back in, like the cops or anything, do any searches.
Apple
Interesting.
or Android?
Apple.
Interesting. So that's probably I'm probably like hanging out with all these like drug addicts or whatever.
It makes sense because like you got to support the bad guys.
Yeah, dude. It's a huge industry in this country.
Yeah.
Dude, that's probably why all politicians have Apple phones.
I'm realizing that I don't think that I like politicians as a concept. I don't, and it's probably just me, but I think I feel like they're just not that trustworthy.
Wow, that's a hot take by Steve over here. Okay, go ahead with your iPad.
What do you guys know about giants?
Like the supermarket?
Yeah. No, like
Used to be better.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean,
used to be better.
a little pricey, but now I feel like everything's kind of pricey.
Is that
Yeah.
the green dude on the peas, or is it green beans? What does he do?
That's the green bean guy
don't know.
and
Green giant,
the Jolly Green Giant.
jolly green giant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I was talking
Like
supermarket.
actual entities of giants in the world today.
Like
Ben's already
corporate
tuned out.
entities.
I know very little about it, but I love the topic.
Okay.
Oh, we're talking big people.
Giants.
Oh,
And not
David
just-
and Goliath.
Not just like Yao
But
Ming.
today. Do you believe that there were actually giants on the earth?
like Amazon women.
I say
Sure.
yes. I say yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
So, because there are some translations of the Bible that say Goliath was over 9 feet tall, and then there are other translations that say he was like 6'9". So some people, you could believe that there were giants in the days, and that's just like a tall human from a different tribe, or it's actually these towering giant people. You know what I mean? So you believe, Daniel, that there were.
I think actual giants.
You do think that,
Yes.
and you do think that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like your knowledge of giants is greater than mine in that, like the mound builders and everything like that.
Maybe.
And I just
I'm waiting to see where this conversation goes
Yeah,
before
yeah.
I jump in.
so today I just got some like eyewitness stories of people seeing.
I don't put any stock in these stories, by the way.
Okay. All right, but it's a gate to enter us into.
I think I'm more into the historical giants, not the like modern day Iraq war giants.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can pivot, and I don't have to tell.
No,
these.
no, I wanna hear-
you
I wanna
can
hear
t-
these-
I don't know
hear
about the
these.
Iraqi
These
No,
giants.
yeah,
All right,
these
so
are worth hearing.
These are some stories from soldiers. I want to give the website to give it credit and everything. This is militarytimes.com. And so this was a piece on Halloween. I think they're taking it from this podcast or this news or this guy that has a blog. It's called Tales from the Grid Square, I think. So all of these come from different soldiers that have apparently called in and told this guy what their stories are and stuff. So there's the big one that a lot of the people that are into kind of the paranormal and weird stuff know about. It's called the Giant of Kandahar, and Kandahar is a city in Afghanistan. And so I'll just go ahead and read it, but it said, during the war, many members of the U.S. military and coalition would encounter activity that would defy normality. UFOs, cryptids, and ghosts, many bore witness to the immense and immeasurable mystery of Afghanistan. What they witness is often kept close to the heart, but be it terrifying or truly something incredible. So according to online accounts, the Giant of Kandahar, who is said to be responsible for an entire patrol going missing, stood towering 13 feet tall. It sported a stalk of flaming red hair, had 6 fingers on each hand and 2 rows of teeth for gnashing, thrashing, and showcasing a smile that was undeniably dashing. Upon contact, the giant purportedly killed one of the U.S. service members with a spear, only to be vanquished by the rest of the unit, courtesy of 30 seconds of sustained gunfire. This according to an account on allthat'sinteresting.com. So as the story goes, the soldiers loaded the giant corpse onto a helicopter and they never saw it again.
They got the giant
They shot him up 30 seconds of straight automatic
and they brought
fire.
him home.
I don't know. They loaded it into this like Comanche or I don't know the helicopter that would carry it, but and it flew off. But the red hair thing and the 6 fingers and toes and the 2 rows of teeth is really interesting because as we'll talk about maybe today, but at another time, the Lovelock Cave giants I think it's in New Mexico, maybe Arizona.
It's close to Four Corners.
Okay. It's a cave that the what's the tribe?
One of the tribes.
One of the tribes explained this race of giants. They were giants. They had flaming red hair, 6 fingers and toes, and 2 rows of teeth. We need to say the Bible doesn't ever say anything about red hair or 2 rows of teeth or 6 fingers or toes, but it is interesting.
It is very interesting.
And a lot of the sightings of giants throughout the world, they say the red hair thing and the whatever.
It's interesting. My mom in New York, growing up, they had a Native American family that all had 6 fingers and toes on each hand and foot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what color was their hair?
Probably black.
You know these people?
My mom did. I just remember her always telling us as kids that she knew these people that had, like the Native Americans in her town always had that.
Wow.
Dude, that's weird.
That's actually crazy.
Where does it go? Is
I don't know.
past the pinky? Or
I don't know. I don't think
index?
it's like one of those weird dew claw kinds. Sounded like it was like a legit one.
Dude,
Where-
weird dew claws.
Where
You
was
know, little
that
weird
from?
hanging fingers. New York.
New York. Okay.
I wonder if it was usable or if it was just kind of like a dangler, like you said.
Dude, I'm picturing like the Princess Bride style.
I haven't seen the movie in 20 years. I don't know what
You
that
don't
is.
remember the 6-fingered man.
Not really. I need to rewatch it. My kids have never seen it, so I got it. Sorry. All right, so here's another
Movie
one.
night.
I cannot believe this.
So the giant of Kandahar is the big one that a lot of people know about. I talked to a Marine who was stationed in Kandahar and asked him about it, and he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid." So
So when was this? Like 20
this
years
was
ago?
yeah, right after 9/11, I think, like in
It was like
2004 or
3,
something.
I think. 03.
And was
maybe.
your friend there then too?
Oh no, he's like my age.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so then there's also the giant of Kunar, who's a massive being an infantry team leader reportedly saw during a deployment between 2008 and 2009. While overlooking a village one fateful night, the soldier peering through his newly mounted thermal telescope, as he spanned the valley, he came across a very large heat signature he assumed was a group of Taliban fighters huddled together around the light high up in the mountains. All of a sudden, the heat signature stood up as one being. The soldier recalled in Orton's post. Orton, I guess, is the author of whatever the blog is that they're getting this from. The trees in that area grew up to be around 10 to 12 feet tall, and this thing was at least that tall, if not taller, than the trees that surrounded it. The giant's stride was slow and relaxed, yet it moved with incredible speed. The soldier added, noting that the giant's chill yet purposeful vibe, it walked parallel to the soldier's position for a time before disappearing along a nearby spur.
So this is a friendly giant, like kind of on the Muppets Christmas Carol with the ghost.
I would assume. What other kind of giants are there?
Yeah.
It's so interesting, the idea of like this is also Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like mountain giants in Afghanistan that people keep talking about this. I wonder, there's got to be something to it, right? Got to be something going on.
So it's, again, important to note, like, what's the biblical history of giants?
Isn't it just when the angels come down and mate with the humans?
That's the origin. But when do we see, like, where do you see giants throughout the Bible?
War.
Okay, but
Are you saying like a physical
Steven, why don't
location?
you just tell us what you want us to
No, no,
say?
no. I'm saying because you guys have good, yeah, war. Like specifically. So the last
Wrong. Wrong.
Yeah, just say what you want us to say,
Good
and then we'll
grief.
go. It'll be better.
the last recollection of like descendants of giants or anything that I'm aware of is like David killing Goliath, and then throughout his kingship, like killing Goliath's 3 or 4 brothers. I don't remember what they
Couple
have.
brothers, yeah.
But are there other instances of that? Because the extra biblical, like conspiracy theorists, tinfoil people, I've heard ideas that like Solomon then chased all the giants out of Israel from after David, all the remainders of them and stuff. And there are connections with when Solomon's building the temple and he has the trees of cedars of Lebanon, that would be the Phoenician people that he's having contact with, and the Phoenicians were great sailors and everything. So there are some that speculate that the Phoenicians traveled to America long, long, long before anything, and so that perhaps he chased these giants, and there's like a missing tribe of Israel that was supposed to have chased the giants into the New World. Ben, are you familiar with any of this? Mm-mm. Okay. And so apparently, like in New Mexico and in that area, they have found Jewish like pottery or some writing that looked Jewish or something like that. I don't know anything about it. Like I've just maybe heard one podcast on it or something like that, but I don't know. But it's just kind of interesting of like what happened to all the giants. Could they still be just hiding in the Iraqi caves or the Afghanistan caves and stuff? Because again, there's so many places to hide there. But it gets into what we were talking about last week with the Bigfoot of like, in order for a giant to be there, like the amount of food and stuff that they would have to be eating, like you would see.
Yeah, you'd have to see them hunting a lot.
Right.
I mean, does Amazon go to those caves?
But what about like the supernatural aspect to it? Like
That's
if
kind of what
if they're descendants of supernatural beings, what kind of consumption do they really require?
That's interesting. That's a good point.
I'm sure something, right?
Yeah, you would think. I don't know. What do you think the mark of Cain is?
I don't know.
These are all things that I've read and never thought deeply about.
Yeah. So God gave Cain a mark because as he so Cain kills Abel, and then God banishes Cain to, was it East of Eden, or I don't know what he called it, but he had to go out, and so he was like, Cain was like, "Don't send me out there, the others will kill me," or whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
So God gives Cain the mark of Cain, and as like a protection over Cain, that this is going to be like,
Is it like a birthmark or something?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like,
Oh yeah,
Maybe it's
basically,
fiery
basically
red.
protecting him so that people won't kill him.
yeah, maybe it's fiery red hair. Maybe it's. I've heard some people are like, "That's Sasquatch comes from Cain because they made him really furry or whatever." I don't know. It's just
that
kind of
would
interesting.
be interesting.
I like those like
It's not
weird.
Esau.
Esau was very furry too. Dude, Esau might have been a Sasquatch. Dude. Yeah. Anyway, I've listened to a lot of stuff, and all these things. I have one more, and then we can just, you guys, I can get your feedback.
Well, hold on. So, you know when you said they were like shooting up this giant with machine guns and stuff, and
Sure.
he was not even.
I want to say his head came
Phased?
completely off.
No, yeah, they killed him. He was.
Oh, they did kill him.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to the Haunted Cosmos podcast, and they were talking about
Friend of the pod.
what's the ranch?
Yeah.
The big
Skinwalker.
Skinwalker Ranch, and there's like a gigantic wolf that
Yeah.
was appearing, and they were just shooting the crap out of it, and it
Right.
wasn't even phased
Didn't it
at
sound
all.
like-
And eventually, it just like after like a good amount of time of getting shot up and stuff, it just turns and walks slowly back into the woods and disappears.
Dude.
So it sounds a little similar, aside from the fact that they actually killed that one.
in fact,
Steven,
it
did
doesn't
you
sound
bring
similar.
a whole pitcher of water out just for your one cup?
No, Dan had a water bottle.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm a giver.
I
Do you
like
need
it.
some water?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I got water in the car.
Okay. So one day there was a drone operator in Afghanistan. I think it's Afghanistan. They spotted 3 giants, each standing roughly 12 feet tall. So there's a ruler tool on the crosshairs that show you how tall it is. and
Wait,
that's
do
why-
they have a picture if it was a drone?
It's probably confidential. And the people were as tall as the crosshairs were wide, the operator said. This was all in mid-wave infrared at night, so they showed up as black humanoid heat signatures. For 10 minutes, the operator observed them, during which time he reported the giants were tending to a fire and performed some other chores. You know, giant stuff. The only interesting thing was the size, the operator wrote. The goats looked like cats next to them.
Do they look like normal people? Like just
You
huge.
said humanoids.
Well, that's what he
so-
said. Is like
Yeah,
the only interesting
humanoids.
thing was their size. So, but again, that was it was on infrared, so you can't see what they're
Yeah, that's true.
what they look like, how many teeth they have, or anything. Like
What
that.
do we? Let's just go around this group here and take a poll. What do you think the likelihood of these stories having any validity is? I'm giving it like a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
2? I would say
20% chance, maybe.
I'd give it 2 out of 100.
Okay, 2% chance. Okay.
dang, you guys are low. I'm
He's
surprised.
like 80.
I'm like the skeptic, and I'm like, oh, probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Well, see, I just don't know. I don't know the sources. Like, I know
And that's-
Military Times or whatever. I don't know what that is.
No, Military Times was kind of making fun of it as like a Halloween thing for the military. It's a military
I gotcha.
news clipping or whatever. So it's basically like a Reddit post of all these people.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, so probably, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably more like 2 out of 100. Maybe not. I don't even know if
It's so easy to make that up, but I want it to be so
I want
true.
it to be real so bad. I have a.
But that is the region that they were in originally in the Bible.
Exactly.
So,
That's why it's a little bit like, oh, I wonder.
But see,
but I feel like
how-
they could easily come back if it's like a spiritual thing, just to haunt or do whatever they need to do.
Ooh,
Whether
like-
they like actually
Dude,
live.
ghost giants? Title of the episode. Ghost
But,
giants.
but doesn't the Bible even say that the Nephilim are locked up in the earth until the day of judgment?
Was
So-
it the Nephilim or the angels that were in the abyss?
I think maybe both.
Ooh, aren't they the same thing?
Well,
No.
so the angels, the fallen angels, are the supernatural beings that bred with human women, the offspring being the Nephilim.
The Nephilim were like the demigods that you hear about, like Hercules
Mhm.
or all the half god, half the men of renown.
Who is the god that's always pushing stuff up the mountain, like the big old ball up the mountain?
And then it always rolls back down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
because it
That's
could be
a
that
Titan.
guy.
Wasn't it a Titan that did that?
It's in God of War.
Yeah,
I just
dude.
remember that dude. You like
I
beat him like right off the
loved
bat.
That
in the
game.
beginning.
We do not condone that game for our young listeners.
We don't condone anything.
Dude, no.
We put 0
Until they
recommendations out.
sponsor us, we're not condoning anything.
This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew.
We are all 3 sponsored. by No, but
Let's face it, men.
dude, I listened to. I don't know if I brought this up already, but like, I was listening to a sports podcast, and the commercials are always like maxi pad and like, like what's happening?
There's this one ad I always hear on this one specific pod. It's like for a device that I guess cools down the smoke that you're inhaling for your substances that you're smoking. I'm like, man, how embarrassing is it to have to read that?
Yeah, I was at church one time and walked upstairs before church started, thankfully, but the Spotify subscription, I guess, lapsed. So we had all those weird commercials too in our kids' church. I'm like, oh gosh, we gotta turn this off.
So funny.
But you had what to his church?
Oh,
The
Spotify.
Spotify ads that are just totally
Yeah.
not children focused.
That's really funny.
I had to
So-
quickly resubscribe.
So giants. How cool of a
So
thought
cool.
is that?
So cool. Do you know anything about the bones in Sardinia?
Where is Sardinia? Is that Europe?
Close to Italy.
Okay.
Is that where the sardines come from?
a fish.
That's probably where they were discovered.
Maybe. Yeah. It's probably very much like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Dude, yeah, it's under the A. I was trying to think of that movie reference and I couldn't pick it.
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
like,
so
farmers would be like plowing their fields.
is this where the Cyclops skull?
Maybe, probably.
Did you see? All right, so keep talking. I'll pull up the Cyclops skull.
And they would just like get stuck on the bones underneath the earth, and it would be like they'd have to like move them out, and they'd be finding like 12-foot skeletons.
Were they like
routinely.
human shaped?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
And one guy, there's a whole TV show series about it. I forget what series it was. Oh, it was a Christian researcher was looking like because like giant bones are kind of a key for like biblical scholars
Mhm.
to like prove the Bible's true or whatever. He was there in Sardinia and they got run down by helicopters and stuff and like chased off to certain
I've seen a few
sites.
documentaries like that.
Yeah, it's
Just
pretty
trying to
wild.
prove like the arc and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that if we bred a lot of NBA players or athletes together, that we could eventually get back to those sizes?
Dude, maybe.
Because I feel like you can do all kinds of stuff with dogs.
Dude, yeah.
So
Like, yeah. Yeah, because, like, what we are is, like, the lapdog version of a wolf,
Yeah.
right? So we need to, like,
You're the
reverse
Pomeranian.
breed them back to being wolves.
yeah,
So this is the Cyclops skull that they
way.
found in Europe.
That is...
I'm confused
It's
what
a-
I'm even looking at right now.
It's a pygmy elephant.
What is
Oh,
this?
is that right?
But they found these. They think that that's where the Cyclops myth came from.
It could be.
By finding this skull.
For those of you that are trying to look on our
We'll post the
YouTube,
link.
look up look up baby elephant skull.
Please don't. So, do we want to get into like the mound builders and stuff? Whatever you're
Like the Indian mounds where
Yeah.
they used to bury giant bones in Indian mounds?
yeah.
Yeah, do it.
I mean, that's about it. I don't really know what else to tell you about it, except for that's
So like in
thing.
there are tons of newspaper clippings and stuff
Tons.
from the 1800s
tons.
about what do they say? Like go into it.
Farmers finding bones and excavating these mounds, finding bones. And then these bones would get taken by a certain organization.
It
We will
rhymes with
yeah.
Grithmonian.
Yeah, Grithmonian. And then they disappear into the basement. And people who would be in possession of these bones would be told that, yeah, we're just going to examine, get data, and you'll get your bone back. We have no use for the bone. And it ghosted.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do? I mean, the Smithsonian.
I guess we were divulging the
well,
name.
Okay, it takes 2 seconds for anybody to know. I mean, this is well documented stuff. Yeah. Like,
Where is there actual underground like stuff?
That's a great question.
Because I've seen
Is it underneath the museum in D.C.?
no way.
I mean, that would make sense if it's the basement, like underneath the mall.
They always refer.
yeah, but they
always
also
refer to the
have like
basement.
huge underground facilities
Right.
of like all kinds of stuff, not just
Sure.
museum
Yeah.
stuff. It'd be like a shared
Somewhere
facility.
in like Ohio
Yeah.
or one of the mountain.
I bet you they have
caverns
crazy
and stuff.
artwork that's just like not on display that they just have.
There's like no, mine.
It's probably so cool. It would be really cool to like work for them and see all the stuff they've got and just like get to walk through their warehouses.
That'd be so awesome.
What?
Dude, they're in caverns near us
Mm-hmm.
that rhyme with Boo Ray. They
Bure Caverns?
yeah, apparently
Right
You
out-
mean
right in the
beret?
as they were
Is that the one that's close to the Luray?
Yeah. It's in very close proximity. There's they found like an Indian or a Native American skeleton there
Dang.
that someone had fallen in or something over the years. And the Smithsonian came in and grabbed up the skeleton real fast, and no one was able to
For what?
see it and stuff.
And that's like
So the law
well-documented?
is like you can't display bones, and so like to have
You can't display bones.
you can't display human remains. Yeah,
you probably have to have specific permitting or whatever.
yeah.
for
That's
that.
that's how they can do like mummies and stuff. But yeah, you're not supposed to be able to have any kind of human remains that you're advertising or anything.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know. I've heard that, and I was like, I wonder if there's a giant in
Luray
Buhay
Caverns.
Cavern.
A friend of mine theorizes that a couple of the mountains around here are actual giant pyramids that are just like covered over with like stuff.
Why?
Because of the way they look. And he was at a customer's house once on a mountain, and there were 3 of them shaped the exact same in a row.
Were they pointy?
Yeah, he said they look just like pyramids and they're in a row, and I was like, okay. I mean, that'd be tight, but I've never seen anything like that.
Isn't there another weird thing like that near Skinwalker Ranch with like people digging into the mountains and they're just hitting? Well, I guess it wouldn't be Skinwalker, but they're like hitting like titanium or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I forget what that is.
I haven't heard that.
No, I think that is actually on Skinwalker Ranch.
Is it?
I thought so, because I watched that show for 2 seasons or something like that, and
There's
I
a
think they
show?
drilled down and
I wanna watch
the
it.
Secret of Skinwalker Ranch,
Something like that.
Is
Yeah, it's
what
on
it's called?
Amazon Prime, I think.
Is that what it is? Yeah, and it's, I mean, what's that? Like they do that
Dude.
whole thing, like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? And you never see anything.
What's the one in New England that they're doing?
You talking about Curse of Oak Island?
Is that the one where they're
It's
like
in Nova Scotia.
keep drilling down,
Yeah.
and they're like 8 seasons in?
11.
Dude, my dad's all about it.
It's my favorite show on television.
What is it about?
It's literally my
Just
favorite
drilling
show.
to the center of the
They're
earth.
like doing real work, right?
So yeah, they don't know what happened on this island called Oak Island in Nova Scotia, and the theory is that there was a huge deposit of treasure, like
Are they
buried.
still with the Knights Templar, or
I don't know if they ever really thought that theory.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that keeps coming up as a possibility, but I think they think Viking at this point.
oh dang,
Yeah, or something. They don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're just... One guy's really scientific about it. The guy who's like the bajillionaire funding this whole thing. He just wants the data. So what is the data pointing to? And sometimes the data seems like it points to the Templars. Sometimes the data seems like it points to not the Templars. And so they go all around the world. They send like people out to research like the European origin for, or the possible origin for where this stuff came from. And they don't really know. They think it could be a religious artifact, so they think it could just be like valuable precious metals. They don't know. And they take samples from the water in this one place that they call the money pit. And it has signatures of like gold and silver and other like non-ferrous metals. And like the amount of metal that would have to be in the water to get the signatures that they're getting is like substantial. So their goal is to excavate in the proper place to find this vault that allegedly is down like 190 feet down.
do you want them to find something?
More than most things in the world. Yes.
Why would you not want them to find? Also,
Because-
how
so-
did they get 190 feet underground
Dude,
back
and
then?
not only that, you should see the elaborate like flood tunnels that they put into this place.
You're talking about the current people digging
No,
it?
the
whoever
old
did
school
it.
people that booby trapped this place. Dude, people have been...
So it's like Indiana Jones for real?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, like for
That's
real.
so cool.
Dude, and people have died trying to get this stuff. Over the last 200 years trying to get this treasure out of this island. I think 6 people have died trying to get
Dude,
this.
yeah, it was like a curse. That's why it's called the
that's why
Curse
it's
of Oak
called
Island.
the curse. Yeah, and so...
And what did it say? Like 7 will have to die before the
Yeah.
treasure's found, or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Go with a group.
I don't know how valid that whole thing. I mean, obviously,
Dude, yeah,
but I don't know how like serious that they think
But it's so cool that like
of that.
all that stuff is like, that's so cool.
It's
there might
so cool.
there might not be anything down
There's
there. whatever.
most likely not.
Undeniable fact though is that someone hundreds and hundreds of years ago built this thing with all these flood tunnels that if you
Right.
try and get into it, the whole thing's flooded and stuff, which gives credence to all the knights, or not Knights Templar, but the Masons and like the crazy weird booby traps and stuff
Right.
that you hear about in Indiana Jones and stuff that you're talking about is like 100% real. We have 100% discovered that, you know, in this place. So
Yeah.
at one point there probably was something unbelievable. If
Yeah.
not,
That'd be
still
so
there.
fun being the designer of the
They've-
booby traps.
On these cores that they
Yeah.
send down there, these drills, they'll get back like parchment and stuff on the bits, like they hit something, like a book. They've gotten human bone from like 180 feet deep. That,
Oh my
that
gosh.
origins like from Italy in like forever ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Whose bones are those that they thought were important enough to place there?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So one thing, you brought up the Viking thing, which I would be remiss if we didn't say very, very likely the Native Americans saw the red-haired Vikings that are huge and then just came up with this lore. And so like in the account of the Lovelock Caves where they just murder all these giants and set this cave on fire and kill all of them and stuff, it could have just been a party of Vikings that they just destroyed. So I just wanted to bring that part up.
No, it's a good call. Have you guys heard Shane Gillis's bit
No.
on Vikings?
No.
I encourage you to listen to it. I will not spoil it here.
Okay. We'll talk off pod.
It's incredible.
But it leads me back to your, like, do you want them to discover it? Because then the magic's gone from this mystery. And like we were talking last week with the teaser of what we were going to talk about tonight was Loch Ness. Do you think the people of Loch Ness want to do a full investigation search for the Loch Ness Monster and definitively prove one way or another? because the mystery is what keeps bringing people back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think solving the mystery makes it cooler.
I think so too.
I just think like knowing.
And
then
validating
you
is
just-
legit.
So like 50 years from now, they're like, yeah, there was a mystery, and then they solved it, and then there's no longer any.
It
So
could
you don't
still
think,
be
like-
found and then disappear again. But if
What
there's
a-
like actual evidence,
Oh, that's a good point.
or like we saw this thing for real, but then in 50 years from now, it'll be like all these people claim that they saw it again.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think like what we were talking about last week, the mysteries of the pyramids and stuff.
Yeah.
Unlocking what that mystery is, the construction mysteries or the use mysteries or whatever. I think it's cool because then it opens up a whole new avenue of research that can
See,
be done.
for me, I don't know that I go with that in like just
You
my
just want
perspective.
everything to be completely mysterious forever.
So I love not knowing how Stonehenge was made, not having any idea like what was this? Was it a race of giants that built
yeah,
this? And
that's
like
the coolest.
this
one.
craziness. Then a PhD guy says no, they put hundreds of miles of these timbers down and were able to roll the rocks along it and create this.
Wouldn't there be earth scarring though for rocks that heavy? If you're rolling it on timbers, wouldn't you be able to like track that?
After how many years?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
well, I don't know. I mean, like,
I mean, there's only
Yeah.
like 30 of them, so it wouldn't be. I don't know.
yeah.
But,
yeah. I'm just thinking of like the trail that goes west. What is that? The whatever people would navigate, like going across the country on the trail.
Oregon Trail?
The Oregon Trail. Thank you. Yeah, like those.
That's not
the-
where Stonehenge is.
I know.
You're very confused.
But like those ruts are still like crazy visible just because they were so worn out.
Yeah, but this was 10,000 years ago. You would have erosion and everything
Right.
take care of that in that time.
Right.
Like you can barely see where a battlefield was, where they were digging these massive trenches because
Yeah.
of so much erosion. That was 150 years ago. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. And we're talking about like maybe
if-
moving a rock once across the
Yeah, and you're not even
Yeah.
digging. You're just laying down. I mean, if you lift
I mean,
it
I'm
up,
sure
a
if
fallen tree, that scar's not going to be there forever.
What are those LiDAR detectors where they fly the drone
Yeah.
over and they can do that? So
Those
I'm
are LiDAR
sure,
detectors.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like there's a way that you would be able to still see something, but I don't know. My point is, having the explanation is not as exciting as the mystery.
But do you like watching Modern Marvels?
I've never watched a show in my life, nor
Dude,
will I.
it's so cool.
Because
Because it actually explains all these like insane. I mean, I haven't seen it in like 15 years either, because I don't really have normal TV. But it just explains like these massive things and how they did it, and I think that's very
I may
interesting
have
as
watched
well.
that on like the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, like that, or Golden Gate Bridge, or even like random things like Tootsie Roll factories,
Yeah.
which used to be the most made candy.
I think our interests are different. Interests.
It's just
are-
an example.
No, yeah, I understand that. Again, I just think I like the mystery. That's why I love Bigfoot and want Bigfoot to be real so much, or giants, or just because I want the mystery in the world that we haven't just like, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah. I do like mystery. It's cool. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
But I also think when they come up with like, I don't know, dude, solving it would just be tight.
I mean, solving just one of them would at least give hope to all the other ones.
Dude, imagine coming up with the Ark of the Covenant. Imagine that. How sick that would be.
That would be sick.
The idea of it or finding it?
Finding it.
Do you guys think the Shroud of Turin is real?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that is.
It's supposedly the burial garment over Jesus' face. And
I just don't see. I
there's
don't
like
see how.
nuclear radiation on the cloth.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
I watched a thing. I can't remember what show it was, but they talked about how they could have done it, and it's basically like the earliest form of photograph technology would do the same thing to it.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, I mean that seems unlikely too, but probably more likely than what they're.
Us
So they're
finding
saying
the one
Jesus
piece of
is
cloth.
nuclear.
I'm sorry. How did you pronounce that word, George Bush?
Nuclear?
It's nuclear.
It can be
Anyway.
whatever I want it to be. You said Blu-ray, like a weirdo.
That's
it
how
also
you.
says
That's
scorpion.
scorpion. Yeah. So like his resurrection, they say would have been this like the reason that it's radiated probably was because of the resurrection. There was like a nuclear blast basically happening in that cave.
Do you believe in the resurrection
Of what?
of Jesus? Or is it another one of these like allegorical stories that you think that the Bible's full of?
I think there's good evidence for both.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I totally 100% believe that God raised Jesus from the dead.
Okay.
Not allegorical.
I'm
I'm not
been
a
in
Sadducee.
I've been in the, well, what they say is the tomb.
You're closer.
I
to
see
it
no
than I am.
explosion in there.
Dude, do you know how many farmers are like, I got a hole in the wall?
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, giant bones. I think getting my hands on giant bones would be one of the coolest things too, mystery solved type thing, because it would be another
Validation.
validation.
What do you think of the ark that they found? Do you think that's real?
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're talking about the one that's like perched on the hill.
Yeah, and it's the exact measurements. And
I mean, I think it's real.
dude, they dug down and found like feline remains, like deep
So
under.
that none of the animals made it anyway. Is what we're saying. They're just squashed on a mountain.
No,
somewhere.
I mean I'm saying like cat poop
oh,
in there, like
Wait,
excrement.
oh. Yeah, I mean, dude, why not? Right?
Dude, it's so cool.
Seems to me that it's more likely that that's real than it's fake.
I haven't heard of them finding it. Speaking of cats,
They think they found the spot of it.
Yeah,
where?
up on a mountain.
Which
I can't-
mountain?
I used to know this stuff, and I like the details
Yeah, I can't remember,
evade me. Or whatever.
but it was like
Where do you guys find all this random information?
dude. So there's this guy named Steve Quayle. I don't know. Did I ever get you onto him?
so he's into Stargates and stuff, right?
Yeah, he talks about Stargates.
I want you
but
to bring up the Stargates. stuff, 'cause I don't remember
know
any
a
of
lot
it.
about Stargates because I was stuck on the giant stuff.
Okay.
I never even knew that was a thing. I thought it was a show.
Well, it's a show based off of the thing.
Dang.
Pyramids, bro.
I have been finding, just listening to that Haunted Cosmos, there's so many movies that are based on actual stories, like Mothman. I thought that was just a movie.
Really?
Yeah, like almost every single thing they talk about, I'm like, oh, I thought that was just like a weird horror movie. Like these are actual stories that are from people that they make the movies off of.
Dude, I'm finding more and more of these Christian podcasts that talk about the unexplained and the mysterious and stuff. And I love it. Apparently it's a growing genre of all these like Christians who want to figure out like what's in the unknown and stuff. And for so long it's just been like, oh, we don't talk about that. That's extra biblical, so it's not important.
We just watch the movies.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish I knew more about. I wish I could remember, because probably 10 years ago, if you asked me about giants, I'd have like specific dates.
Dude, that's what I'm
and
saying. Like
locations.
I
just
brought up
don't
giants
have-
and I was like, Ben's my guy.
I just don't. I haven't listened to anything about it forever.
Yeah.
Uh,
There was a Sasquatch Chronicles episode where he was talking about this guy was in Alaska and he said he saw this like 20-foot giant carrying a club just walking through in the mountains.
Why do they have clubs?
I know. Evolve.
Why not 20-foot or like machine guns?
Who knows
That
what
would
that
be the
club could do.
scariest thing in the world.
I mean, who knows what that club could do? It could maybe summon portals or stargates.
It's like Thor's hammer.
Is that a thing?
maybe.
Who knows?
Explain Sasquatch feet, like footprints that people follow that just disappear, like they just stop.
Well, right.
Right? I mean, something.
We got into that last week,
right.
but the club being a portal summoner.
I don't know. You don't know. I mean, it could be like.
It's true. No one knows.
I mean, even Tinkerbell had a wand. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a euphemism, and I don't
Love
understand now.
that Tinkerbell.
I'm like trying to picture her. Did she have a wand?
I don't know. I thought she did because, like, I thought she drew like the curve thing on the Disney word.
That was Hillary Duff.
Or maybe that was just her body flying.
Yes, in between the commercials.
Well, thank you all for joining us for another, whatever you call it, edition of whatever we call it. Any guesses on what I mean, Dan?
Probably unsought opinions.
What was the first one?
I don't remember what you even said.
Another mystery to be solved.
Why do we tune each other out?
Yes. Well,
How do we tune each other out?
My son said this is his favorite part of the podcast, right?
when I do my...
Yeah.
Well, to all you one son out there, Thank you for listening. And as you're out in the world this week, remember that there are mysteries to be solved, to keep your eyes open. Look at the ground every once in a while. See if you can find a giant footprint or a mark in the stars that you didn't see before.